We talk a lot here at Nomad Capitalist about offshore strategies like moving your business overseas with an offshore company, or opening an offshore bank account to diversify your assets, or making investments into any kind of foreign investment like a REIT or a stock or a bond in another country. These assets, particularly for Americans, are reportable. You have to tell the IRS, you have to tell the tax man about these assets. However, there are a few assets that are legally non-reportable, and in this video I'm going to tell you what those are. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Henderson, and if you'd like to learn how Nomad Capitalist helps 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs legally diversify their assets overseas, reduce their taxes, and go where they're treated best, go to nomadcapitalist.com. One of the things that is worth noting is that a lot of the stuff we talk about here on the channel, a lot of the stuff we talk about on our website articles, are great offshore strategies that are totally legal, such as moving your business offshore into a foreign company. You can do that, and if you set everything up correctly, you can legally pay as little as 0% tax. Or you can open up a foreign bank account to boost asset protection and earn a higher interest rate, or hold a foreign currency. This video, I'm going to primarily focus on U.S. citizens. Some of these things may impact people in other countries, but I'm coming primarily from an IRS perspective for whether you live in the United States or whether you're a U.S. citizen abroad who's subject to the same rules. So those strategies need to be reported. If you're an American and you have a foreign company, you have to file Form 5471, for example. If you have bank accounts, you need to file other forms for that. Most offshore assets are reportable, and while Americans in particular are at a disadvantage to where even if they live overseas, they've still got to follow the same reporting as long as they're a citizen. If you are living in a lot of countries, a lot of developed countries have rules where if you live there, you need to report your foreign assets. But for Americans, there are a couple things that you don't need to report. This video is not tax advice. If you're looking for someone to help you, again, go to nomadcapitalist.com. This is just a brief overview of some asset classes. You can go to the IRS website and they will tell you these assets are not reportable. Number one is foreign real estate. Now, I've talked a lot about having foreign real estate for a number of reasons. Number one, it can be an investment. Foreign real estate in certain countries can earn higher yields. It can grow faster than properties in your home country. It may be less likely to economic shocks, maybe less likely to dip than real estate in your own country. Maybe it's a place you just want to live. Maybe it's a safe haven. Maybe it's your plan B, that if times get tough, you want a place where you can go and live. Maybe it's a winter or a summer home. But for whatever reason, foreign real estate is an asset that is not reportable to the IRS. Now, if you hold it in certain types of structures, the structure and its assets may be reportable, so there may be something to report there. If you are renting the property, then rental income not only may be taxable in that country, but you may be subject to additional tax in the United States, depending on how the tax rates and the treaties and the foreign tax credit and all that work. So income and certain structures may be reportable, but if you just own real estate in another country in your own name, it's just titled to you, that is a non-reportable asset. So you can buy that home in another country and keep it there, and you don't have to report that to the IRS. Now, the second asset is gold, precious metals that are privately vaulted. Now, if you're owning gold, silver, other precious metals, don't go and put them in the banking system, okay? Don't go and buy these gold certificates. A lot of banks overseas. I like that in other countries, people are thinking about gold and they have a mass market product at some of these banks where it's like, hey, buy a gold certificate. That's through the banking system. That is not exempted from reporting requirements, nor is whatever you put in a safe deposit box in a bank in another country. So if you just, I opened a bank account recently in, I don't remember where actually, and they said, oh, you get 6 months free safe deposit box. And if you want to keep it going after that, we'll just charge you whatever. If you put something in that safe deposit box, that can be reportable. But if you go to a private offshore vault, like the ones we've talked about here on our channel, you go to Singapore, you go to Hong Kong, you go to London, wherever, you can put your metals in those vaults, and it not only isn't reportable in the United States, it may not be really reportable in that other country either. It's just a private transaction, okay? So that is a carve-out. Now again, if you're doing things like taking loans against those precious metals, there may be other things you can do that would trigger a reporting requirement. So again, there's all kinds of caveats to some of these things, but the headline is privately vaulted precious metals offshore, not reportable. Okay, so those are the big two non-reportable assets for Americans, and again, potentially for citizens of other countries as well. There are a couple lesser-known wild cards, shall we say, that are also non-reportable. If you hold foreign currency, like physical foreign currency, that is not trigger a reporting requirement with the IRS. Some people think if they own stacks of euros or Cambodian riel or Singapore dollars or whatever, whether it's in their home in the United States or whether it's vaulted somewhere else or in the property they own overseas, whatever. Some people think that's reportable. It's not. Just stacks of foreign cash, not an issue. Now, you put that foreign cash in the bank, now you may have an issue. You do other transactions with that foreign cash, that may trigger an issue. But just cash, not an issue. The other thing is there are certain types of tangible assets, like art or classic cars. We had a gentleman who came to us recently who wanted to expatriate from the United States, and we went through a whole laundry list of what his U.S. assets were just to make sure that we could get rid of anything that we needed to get rid of or just make him prepared for life as a former American. And the one asset that he had was a classic car sitting in a garage in the United States where he was from. And he said, I just want to be done with the U.S. I don't even want to keep the car. And I said, okay, let's move that car. And I know a vault where you can go and store it, and they'll watch after your classic car. I've been in the Freeport in Singapore, and you go in there, and they've got people's vast art collections, classic cars. There are other vaults that do that too. If you have some of those intangibles, like stamp collections maybe, or rare art, I don't know every little thing that's exempt, but some of these tangible assets are not reportable if they're vaulted overseas. Now, again, when in doubt, talk to a tax professional. We work with international tax professionals because there are so few of them who really understand this. If you go to your normal, domestic tax preparer, they're going to freak out when you talk about, storing your art collection in the Freeport in Singapore. But these are the carve-outs. These are the assets that you don't have to report legally. Now, nothing wrong with having assets that you do need to report. People have asked, well, if you can't hide money, what's the point of an offshore bank account? The point is asset protection, diversification, higher yields, access to more investments, other currencies. There's many benefits to having a foreign bank account. Again, Americans and many others, you will have to report that. If you know what you're doing, it's rather straightforward, and I'm not opposed to that. But if we're talking the full range of diversification, these non-reportable assets may have a great place in your portfolio as well. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.